Okay, gamers, what's up? It's your boy RTD54 here, and we got our Q&A for today. So our first question of the day, it's from I can't pronounce that. Anyway, his question is first. Let's see. Well, that's a great question. So first, actually, it has multiple dictionary definitions. As you can see here on the screen, we've got, of course, coming before all others in time or order, earliest, first, like his first wife, and then a lot of examples, a lot of words in them. I can't even read half of those. Am I? Anyway, and then it's got two more definitions. You've got foremost in position, rank, or importance, and with a specific part or person in a leading position. Now personally, I do prefer the first definition, just because it gives me the most example sentences, so I can use that to write my essay. But yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, our second question is from GENEVIXXXXX. Sure, GENEVIXXXXX. Okay. His first question, actually, here is, congrats. Yeah, that's a really good question. I personally, I don't have a lot of opinions on that in particular. I do think that is definitely maybe a little too political, honestly, for this channel. So I'm sorry that's not a satisfactory answer, but that's just my thoughts. It's a pretty political topic. His next question is, I subbed. Yeah, that does bring up a great point about neocolonialism. I'll be honest, I've never really thought of things that way, and to be perfectly frank, I would say I agree. Thankfully, his next question, a lot easier. I would appreciate it if you sub to me. Appreciate there is definitely the key word in this question. If you would ask me if for instance I was a gamer, if I sub to you, that would be something very different. So thanks for keeping it PG with the appreciate, and I'd say yes, I agree. Keep up the great work. I have agreed with your last two takes, but honestly, on this one, I have to say I don't agree. I actually I have no opinion on this one. I know, kind of going back to my first answer, but just really not, honestly, not something I particularly care about. His next question here. How do you... I know that the second letter is a T. Is that Batwa? Batwa. Okay, Batwa. I'm Tund subscriber. Isle? Isle? I'm sorry. I don't know what Isle is, but I'm sure it's something that you are really excited about, and I'm just happy to see things that other people are excited about. So yeah. His next question here: can I have a shout out, please? Yeah, of course you can have a shout out. yeah, guys, subscribe to subscribe. And his last question here, thanks. Well, yeah, that is definitely a hot take on Israel-Palestine. But I think that potentially the real thing we need to do here is we need to enact a two-state solution, and we need to end the Israeli acts of imperialism, frankly. What the Israeli government, again, got to specify here, Israeli government is doing is not acceptable. Anyway, sorry for getting a little too off base, a little too happy sunshine there. Our next question is from Devynd. I can't really pronounce it, sorry guys. It says here, Q0, is it classified as animal, vegetable, mineral, concept, or unknown? Note that Q0 is always the same and is the only non-yes or no question allowed. Well, I do think, contrary to the parenthetical here, I would have to say yes, actually. Yes. Going back to GENEVIXXXXX here, we have Q1. Would you use it daily? A decent question to help narrow down man-made objects. And yeah, I do agree. The Industrial Revolution has definitely changed the world in so many ways. I wouldn't go so far as to classify it as entirely good, or to classify it as entirely bad. It's more kind of, morally ambiguous, as are most pieces of steel. Another question from no, I don't like that. Q2, does it have feelings? Is trying to confirm this is an object. Well, on the topic of feelings, I just want to say I am personally sorry. I never fucked my feelings. I never came on my feelings. It was a joke in a podcast. Please don't cancel me for that. Moving on, we have from GENEVIXXXXX again. Q3, is it pleasurable? A surprising number of objects that people think have someone to do with comfort or pleasure, for instance, foods. However, this is too subjective to be a good question, IMO. Well, I think bringing it back to your last point there about IMO, definitely we need to carefully regulate that segment of the agriculture industry. One of the big things is, of course, you have Monsanto trying to own seeds, which is it completely destroys farming communities, especially in more impoverished communities where seed saving is the main way of maintaining your crops from year to year. Here we go, another Q3. Can you mash it? Not sure about this one, but the AI apparently thinks that about half of inanimate objects that don't have to do with pleasure are mashable. I don't think that's its intended use case. Personally, I do believe you should keep mashing in the bathroom where it belongs, but if you want to use it to clean your teeth, I'm not going to stop you. Q5 here, can you control it? Well, I do believe that the mistakes made by the end of the Austro-Hungarian Empire doomed it to never truly rise back to where it once was. The only way forward for it was to actually basically democratize, as we can see from, again, the breakup of Yugoslavia, trying to put together all of these disparate nations into one political unit is very difficult, and ultimately there is a dictatorship just makes things worse, and in reality there is no way to have a unified country for the Balkans. So honestly, I don't disagree with that take. Q6, is it a primate? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with a hard no on that one. Moving on. Q7, would you use it in a garden? Honestly, I feel like gardens are just too political, so we're just gonna move on. Q8, is it mechanical? Well, yeah, so to give my particular perspective on Bionicle Lore, I think a very important place to start is that Christian Faber, who came up with the concept for Bionicle, actually, he came up with it while he was in chemotherapy for cancer. And so the reason, this is a really beautiful piece of symbolism, but the reason that the Bionicles they come in canisters is actually because they're the Toa, the heroes, they're like the little pills he was taking that were going to go beat the cancer, which would be Makuta. And I think that's just a really poetic image, and I think it's really cool. So moving on. Q9, is it larger than a pound of butter? I would say that that is probably something that you should not put that much love into, but if that's what you want in your life, who am I to stop you? Q10, does it have writing on it? Another great question for inanimate objects. Yeah, so on this point I do have to agree with Anita Sarkeesian. We too often do refer to butter as an object, and honestly, I think in accordance with feminist theory, we really should do our best to allow butter to be an actualized character in our video games. Q12, sorry guys, no Q11. Is it used to carry things? Yeah, it is definitely with a heavy heart. I didn't know him personally. I only had a parasocial relationship with him via the internet. But you know, it hits hard. It hits hard. Q20. I'm guessing that it is a sword. I would have to say that your take there absolutely correct. I don't want to get any more into it, because then that'll be opinions and not facts and logic, but I mean, okay now, this is epic. So yeah, that's our 2 subscriber special. I hit 3 subscribers, so growing faster than anticipated on that road to 0 subs, baby.